Hello everyone, and welcome to HC3900, the course in which you complete and construct your thesis proposal. I'm Dr. Beckwith, and I'm a faculty fellow for the Honors College. In this class, you're officially embarking on the journey to completing your thesis for the Honors College. However, it's important to note that unless you are graduating this semester, you're not actually writing your thesis in this class. Rather, you are constructing your thesis proposal that lays the foundation for your project. What we're looking at right now is the Google site for our class. In a minute, I'll be taking you to the Moodle site for our course, but this gives you an overview of the class as a whole. What to expect in HC3900. We're going to guide you through the process of constructing a thesis proposal section by section. This means that within the class, you will have what we call a thesis advisor, and that is a person who will guide you with regard to the construction of the proposal itself, the structuring of the proposal, the necessary requirements and criteria. You will also have a faculty mentor. That is the person who is going to guide you in the design of your project according to your discipline. Your faculty mentor needs to be a professor within your major here at OU. What is a proposal? A proposal is a structured document that allows an outside reviewer to assess, first, the rigor of your research, second, the relevance of your research question, and third, the merit of your methodology. Ultimately, your proposals will go out for review at the end of this semester. Why a proposal? Your thesis proposal is a document that lays the foundation for your project and that's going to facilitate the completion of your research and writing of your actual honors thesis. And it helps to ensure that your thesis is of significant higher level research and appropriate scope. Now, there are distinctions between types of thesis projects. There is a research project and there is a creative project. Both require a proposal. Both also require that you situate your project within your discipline. Discipline is a word that is an expansion of your major, but very related to your major. You can think of your discipline as being that body of knowledge, the set of practices and processes that people within your field, your major, call upon and contribute to. And the new discovery, new understanding, new perspective, new practices that you will be adding to the discipline is what you want to aim for with both your proposal for your thesis project and your thesis project itself. I'm now going to take us to the Moodle page that allows you to see more specifics about our course this semester. So you can see the HC3900, and it says Research and Scholarship as part of the course heading at the top of the Moodle site. I want to quickly draw everyone's attention to these three bars on the left-hand side. By clicking these, I open and close this drop-down menu that allows me to navigate to other places in the Moodle page without having to scroll down. I'm going to close this now so that we can see the Moodle site more clearly on this Zoom screen. At the top of our Moodle site, you see the course title. You also see my name. If you were to click on that, it brings you to a site where you can learn a little bit more about me as a person and a lot more about Little Dog, who's more important in many ways. You can also see who the thesis advisors for this semester are. Again, your thesis advisor will likely be assigned to you within the first couple of weeks, possibly 3 weeks of the course. This is not done immediately because the assignment of a thesis advisor is individualized to each of you as students. You can also see that there is a link to the course website. This is that site that I just showed you that also has a course overview, which I suggest you click on. The calendar you won't need because that's on Moodle. It also has proposal construction. You can click on each of these links, and I highly recommend that you read again the course overview, which specifies that there are due dates on the calendar for the sections of your proposal and your completion of your proposal as a whole and as you are drafting it. I'm going to go back now, closing this out, to our Moodle page. Underneath the link to the course website, there is also a link to the Honors College Google site. And this one will take you directly to the graduation and final thesis turn-in. Again, if you are not graduating this semester, this isn't immediately relevant to you. At the end of this video, I will talk a little bit about students who are graduating this semester and how this course functions for them. But you can reference this link now and in the future, as it will also give you your final thesis checklist. Again, your thesis, whether it be a research thesis or whether it be a creative thesis, is different from your proposal, your thesis proposal. Again, I'm going to close out of this and return to our Moodle site. I expect that you are all by now very familiar with Moodle, but I am going to cover just a few basics here. Announcements should come to you via email if you have your Moodle page set up with your OU email, and you should do this. If you are not getting announcements, you should contact the Moodle help, which you can see right up here by clicking Get Help. It takes you to a page with immediate help, including on Saturdays. You can do live chat, and you can also email them. If you happen to miss an announcement for some reason, or if you want to go back and look at one, you just click this this link, and there will be a list of announcements that have been sent out throughout the semester. There are none now because there have been no announcements yet this semester. The next and most important link for you is the course calendar, which has links to readings, resources, and assignments. I'm going to be covering what a proposal looks like in more detail as we go forward, but right now I just want to make sure you can access all of these important documents and links. This will take you to the calendar for the semester in which you are enrolled in HC3900. The calendar has the due date for tasks. It also has links to tasks. Here it is an HC3900 intake form. You need to be logged into your OU email. And when you are, it brings you to a quick form which you can complete and should complete as soon as you receive the announcement from me that the class has opened for the semester and is available on Moodle. You can also see that there are, and for a second, I'm going to scroll down here, that there are readings that are assigned. When you click this document, it will take you to an overview and important information regarding what is a current research section on a proposal and what purpose does a current research section serve on a proposal. I will be talking more about that section in detail in a minute. We're going to close that out, and you can see that I'm going to take you back up here to the top, that there is an HC thesis proposal template. There are instructions for, once you click on this link, how to copy this and make it your own template. I'll show you more about that from the calendar in a second in terms of instructions. On this template, you should not change any of the existing placeholders or section headings. You will see that in red and parentheses or brackets, there is reminders to you throughout this document. Once you have completed, once you've inserted a working title for your thesis project, you can remove that red parenthetical reminder. You'll put a working title, You'll put your name, you'll put your major, and you will fill in your faculty mentor's information. Remember, your faculty mentor is the professor from the department of your major who will be working with you, guiding you on the development and design of your project with their disciplinary expertise. Then you will see there's an abstract section. After each of these, along with the red parenthetical reminder, I have also included other readings that you can review and just click on very easily, even from the proposal. There is a page break here. Please don't delete that. You'll see there's a current research section, and again, a link and a reminder. There's an aims and objectives section, which is completed simultaneously with the methodology section. There is an IRB section. This is a section that may not be required of you to apply for. IRB is Institutional Review Board, but it is still a section of your proposal. So you need to state if your project involves human subject research or animal research or certain laboratory conditions and materials research, that you will be applying for IRB approval or exemption, or if your project does not include human subject research, animal research, or certain laboratory and materials research, that your project does not involve those and that you are not required to apply for IRB approval. But do not delete that section. There will be an outcome section. I'll be talking more about this in a minute. I do just want to take this opportunity to tell you that this is not a section in which we are asking you for the findings of your research or your experiments. This is where we are looking for the tangible output of your research project. And again, you'll have a document explaining that further, but I want to emphasize we are not asking you to be psychic and predict actual findings or determinations of your research project. There's a biographical note where first person is acceptable, but your faculty mentor, with their disciplinary expertise, may have you write it in the third person, because in certain disciplines, that is what is expected. There is a bibliography. Now, from the start, you should state the citation style that you are using. And this is the citation style that is expected from your discipline. Certain disciplines use MLA, others use APA, some use IEEE, others use CSE. Again, that will be determined by your discipline, but you need to state that citation style. I've put X's there for you just to fill that in afterwards. And then from the beginning, you need to be including the citations that you are using throughout your proposal. Again, formatted according to and appropriately for your style guide that your discipline uses. I'm going to scroll back up here to the top again now, and then I'm going to actually leave this open as I take you back to the fall calendar. You're going to see that there are instructions on how to make a copy of this template, specifically what to rename it, your last name, and followed by comma, HC Thesis Proposal. And then once it is renamed, you can immediately share it with me, Dr. Beckwith, and also with your faculty mentor. Once you have been assigned a thesis advisor from within the class, you will also share it with that person. That template that I just showed you, once you create your copy, is where you will be doing all of your drafting and all of your work for the semester. It is a continuous or a living document. Your first section, you're going to see as we scroll further down, is the current research section. When you initially fill in your current research section, which you'll see is actually the second section, leave it in that position on the actual template. As you complete that, this placeholder text or lorem ipsum dipsum will actually be removed by you. You will leave this in just the black and white type that you see here. After your faculty mentor has read it and offered you suggestions and recommendations for changes, you will put those changes in yellow highlighting and also submit it to Moodle. I'm going to show you more about that in a second as well. Your thesis advisor will then make comments, and they will make comments directly on your Google document. The way in which this will occur is they will, rather than highlighting an entire section, because then you would need to delete that comment, put some sort of placeholder there, and then type a comment to you. I'm going to cancel this out so nobody's template is permanently commented on by me. As you address the comments and suggested revisions from your thesis advisor, you will again put those in that bright yellow highlighting. You will leave comments from your faculty mentor and your thesis advisor and myself if I comment on your proposal document as you're drafting it. Leave those until the end of the semester. Now, for those of you who want a more detailed explanation than what is written here, there is a Loom video that shows you these steps that you can click on. I've been mentioning the faculty mentor, and as we scroll down, it may be that some of you do not yet have a faculty mentor. It is important that you identify and acquire a faculty mentor as soon as possible for your success in this class. We recommend that students come into HC3900 already having a professor from within their major who has agreed to be their faculty mentor for their thesis project, their honors thesis project. But if you do not yet have a faculty mentor, there's a document here that you can again click on that tells you about choosing and contacting a faculty mentor. There's actually important information here for everyone regarding the role of a faculty mentor and your relationship, communications, and then if you do not have a faculty mentor, suggestions for who to reach out to in order to identify and secure a faculty mentor. I am going to reiterate here, or say here, it's mentioned in the course materials, but that it's okay to email more than one professor at a time asking them to be your faculty mentor. In fact, this is a best practice, rather than emailing one professor and waiting to hear back from them. Best case scenario is that you're going to have more than one professor who replies back with a, "Yes, I will be your faculty mentor." If that's the case, we understand the situation as professors when you ultimately determine which of those professors is the best fit for your project. So do not be afraid to reach out to multiple faculty members. I also want to iterate that you may find in your discussions with professors within your major that they have an ongoing research project of their own, and it is perfectly acceptable for you as your honors thesis to play a role in that ongoing research. In fact, that's fantastic. It's acceptable for you to perform a literature synthesis. It's also acceptable for you to accept a suggestion from a faculty mentor that may be different, slightly different, or extremely different from your original thoughts on a project that you might do. These recommendations arise from that professor's disciplinary expertise and are exactly the guidance a faculty mentor can give. So you do not need to come up with your own research project that is wholly your own. I'm going to close this form. Going back instead of the calendar, well, I will show you a little bit more of the calendar. I already mentioned that for each section that you will construct, there is course reading materials that you will see on the calendar. On the left-hand side, you will see a deadline for that section. In this case, the current research section. That is the date by which your faculty mentor should already have reviewed. They should read your draft and make suggestions before you ever place it on Moodle on this deadline that's on the left-hand column. Changes each semester. In this semester, it happens to be September 15th, but pay attention to the actual date on the calendar for your semester. Your faculty mentor should read those sections before you submit them to Moodle. You should incorporate their suggestions before you submit to Moodle. So make sure to give yourself time for the completion of the section, the drafting of the section, and acknowledge, respect, and accommodate your faculty mentor's schedule with regard to reviewing your work. After the current research section, you can see on this calendar, the next section is your abstract and biographical note. There is a due date for that. Again, the same process where you have your faculty mentor go over that draft of the section before you submit it to Moodle. That is then when your thesis advisor from within the course will add comments. Even as you are working on your abstract, you will want to go back and integrate, address any comments made by your thesis advisor and any additional comments made by your faculty mentor from the prior section. The stronger your initially constructed sections, here the current research, the stronger will be your subsequent sections. That process of going backward and forward in this continuous document will occur all semester long. When students don't make revisions to prior sections and wait until they are at this rough draft stage, they end up having to do a significant amount of heavy lifting with regard to revision because there has been a waterfall or a domino effect that will have occurred in every subsequent section that you have composed. It is much easier to work on this continuously. Once you've drafted a section, always be going back to review that section. So this calendar, you should continuously open and look at. You can print it so that you're able to create a calendar that you can visually look at. But remember, you also need to be able to access it as you can from Moodle so that you can click these links, which are so important. Now I'm going to go back to the Moodle page. After the calendar, you should review in that first week all of our general course materials, which include a syllabus and frequently asked questions. Also includes a proposal construction resources. You're going to be going back to this possibly throughout the semester because what this document is a compilation of every document that you will need during the semester. One of the early documents is a faculty mentor agreement packet. That is also on the calendar, but if you need to, you can also access it from this link off of Moodle, the proposal construction resources. At the end of the semester, I'm losing control of my page down here. At the end of my semester, at the end of your semester, you will also have a faculty mentor final draft thesis proposal approval form. This is necessary prior to your proposal going out for review. It is a different form than the initial agreement form. You would be able to go here and click it. There will also be an opportunity for you to apply for grant funding during the semester, and you have an example of a thoroughly filled out portion of a grant application materials. Those materials, they change every semester to a degree, so do not try to complete or fill this out in advance until it's released to you. But this example shows a very thorough completion of the funding portion of that application. And then at the bottom, I've also included links to the course materials. Again, those are going to be actually on Moodle and on the calendar. but they're also here if you ever wanted to click through them very quickly. One thing I may not have said when we're looking at the proposal itself, the template, is citation generators are notoriously unreliable. And we frequently get proposals that go out to review and then are kicked back because citation generators did not actually format the citation according to the disciplinary style guide. So I recommend here the Purdue OWL as an overview. And then further up, you can see that there is a citation styles reference here for the MLA, APA, IEEE, etc. There's also how to schedule an appointment for the Writing Center. One of the wonderful things about the Google Doc proposal is that you can make an appointment with the Writing Center for each and every section of your proposal. Your thesis advisors will point out that your proposal may need grammatical or copy editing or proofing work, but they are not working with you on that writing. They are not copy editors or proofreaders. So utilize the Writing Center and you can share your Google Doc with them. And as I said, they can comment directly on there as you have meetings remotely. You can, of course, also visit them in person. So I have on Moodle then sections for each segment of the class or section of the proposal. The first segment is the intake form, which is due on September 1st. And again, even though it's on the calendar, it has the link to that intake form that you can click directly there. Then you move on to the current research, which is that section is due on September 15th. The required reading of you, which goes over what a current research section, its purpose, what it looks like, etc. And then where you will actually upload the current research section. You'll click on this assignment and you will input a link to your Google Doc. Your thesis advisor will complete a rubric for you that is on Moodle, and you should refer to that rubric for feedback overall on that section of your proposal. But they will also be making comments on the proposal itself. Using that designation, I happen to use 2 @ signs. Different thesis advisors may prefer to use a different form of denoting, like $2 signs, that there is a comment there. Again, the reason for us commenting, but not highlighting, not using your actual verbiage on the proposal to comment, to anchor to that comment, is because if you change that verbiage, then you lose the comment. And we want you to leave all the comments present, and we want you to put any changes after your faculty mentor has commented or your thesis advisor has commented in bright yellow highlighting. That is important for tracking and assessment purposes. So do follow that from the start. Now, a current research section is where you really do a deep dive into recent research surrounding the scholarly conversation of your topic within your discipline. It's very focused, and you're going to learn more about that from reading the course materials, but through the examination of recent findings and publications from peer-reviewed sources, you are going to explain and again explicate what those studies, what those examinations and analyses did, what they performed, what they found. You're also going to point out what they didn't look at, what they didn't consider. We call this the gaps. As you work through the different gaps, that's where your research question will emerge. So this is a very focused, bringing you into a very specific, situated, contextualized research project or creative project within your discipline and developing that research question. Throughout the semester, you'll continue to refine those. It's a very close look. We next take you to the abstract and the biographical note. Now, the abstract is the section of a proposal or a publication that the author completes last, generally. We have you do it here in this class second, because what it does is it allows you to step back and think comprehensively of your project, to see the big picture of your project. Again, much of it might change as you go forth in further sections, but having this bird's eye view is very important after you've done the very focused, close look from the current research. The biographical note should be a section that many of you can complete without doing too much research. So we also have this second so that you're able to take a little bit of a breather, a break, because there will likely be a great deal of refinement to your current research section, even before and as you're working on your abstract and biographical sections. That week is also, that segment is also when you upload the signed student mentor agreement form. Again, it's on the calendar. This is where the upload occurs, and it's also in that resources page that I showed you. And if you are a part of a team project, a group project, and that's actually something which occurs in labs or within courses like senior design classes and capstones. So if you are part of that, you will upload that form there as well. After the abstract, we have you complete the aims, objectives, and methodology sections, then the outcome sections, then you have a rough draft, and then you have a final draft that is placed in a zip folder that will ultimately go out for review. So you can see this progression as you scroll down the page. So this, and I'm going to return to our calendar, is what you will be doing this semester. It is outlined here as well. Always look at this calendar. It iterates specific information, but click the links here and also click the links in each section on the Moodle page so that you are accessing all the information and you don't miss any information. So now I have addressed the generation or construction of the proposal, and that is that structured document, which is your way of designing your thesis project. Again, a research project and creative projects will both add to your discipline in terms of new knowledge, new understanding, new perspective, new practices for your discipline. And both of them are actually situated in research or past work that has been performed within your discipline. There is another route by which some of you may be completing your honors thesis requirement, and that is via using either your senior design or senior capstone class. Or you may be doing the conventional, traditional research project, creative project, but also graduating this semester. In those instances, and only in those instances, students will be constructing their research proposal, their thesis proposal, at the same time that they are actually performing their project, whether that be a research project or a creative project or a lab project, a capstone project, a senior design project, etc. And elaborating upon that further for their honors thesis. If you are in that situation, please do email me. Although from the intake form, I will also get that information rather rapidly. So those students will actually be doing all of that simultaneously. The majority of students in this class will simply be working on the design of your thesis project. whether that be a creative project or a research project. And through that, the construction of your thesis proposal. For everyone, that thesis proposal actually ends up being a wonderful foundation and a good part of your actual thesis itself. Because many of the sections that you see on the thesis proposal, and now I'm going to go back to the template. The title page will likely stay very much the same, only instead of saying proposal, it will say thesis. You will have an abstract. Now, of course, at the point in time when you've completed either your creative project or your research project, this will have become more refined. There will be more details that you add to it, but it will remain largely the same. Your thesis will very likely then contain a section that will be called introduction or background. The current research section for your proposal will actually, again, form a foundation that you can add to elaborate upon with what more you have discovered of that recent research and findings that contextualize your project. The aims and objectives, this is oftentimes collapsed into that introduction section with a statement of what was done and why. The methodology is a section in many theses. It becomes simply, instead of the future tense, the processes of collection, of creation, or analysis that are recognized by your discipline. Instead of that being in the future tense, it becomes past tense. And again, you'll add to it because there'll be of things that you did. The IRB, you could leave that on there at that point in time, though you don't need to leave it on your thesis itself. And rather than outcomes, which is that tangible output of the research before it's performed, this becomes a discussions section frequently. And then you might still have a biographical note, and you will definitely still have a bibliography. So that proposal that you are going to construct this semester can also be helpful to you in forming a skeleton for your future thesis itself that you add the flesh to, you elaborate upon, and also a way in which you can go back and remind yourself of what your goals were, what your research question was, what your methodology had been as you designed your project. So I am looking forward to seeing you all this semester in our HC3900 course. This is asynchronous in the sense that there are no required class meetings. You will have opportunities, and we encourage you to communicate, speak with, meet with your thesis advisor or me as needed. But the rest, and there are due dates. So do pay attention to the due dates for the tasks, readings, and sections. And at the end of this semester, I am confident that you will all have a completed and fantastic proposal that further sets you one step down the path to completing your Honors College thesis. Thank you so much. Have a great day.